Good evening, all. Welcome to another edition of Thursday Night Takeaway. My name's Lorraine Copes, and I'm the founder of Be Inclusive Hospitality. And on a fortnightly basis, I will be catching up and talking to founders and leaders within the hospitality industry about their journey, really, within the sector, with the hope that you'll be able to take something away. And so I'm joined today by Philip, and I'm going to hand over to you, Philip, to just introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do.
Thanks for having me. Super honored to be here. Philip JUMA. I'm founder of JUMA Kitchen in London's Borough Market. Beyond Borough Market, I've started the brand in 2013.
Okay.
And it's our 10-year anniversary this year in November. So 10 years in the game. And we celebrate Iraqi cuisine. So my dad's Iraqi, my mum's English-Irish, so mixed heritage. And yeah, basically been on a journey championing Iraqi food and culture for the last 9 years in London. And Borough Market is our kind of like flagship bricks and mortar. But we do all the catering events, private chefing as well. So yeah. That's us.
Nice. And are you going to do anything to celebrate your 10 years?
Yes, that's going to be I might have to be coming after you for some tips on how to throw a party, because the last one was
I know really well how to attend parties, but
no, you know how to host. That was an amazing one for being inclusive hospitality. I love that. So yeah, we're gonna have a big party, a celebration, invite all of the followers and people who have just been there since day dot, old and new. And just acknowledge, 10 years in hospitality, it's not been easy, especially as an independent business, and everything that I've gone through. Yeah, it's like I actually want to acknowledge that. And often, I guess often as leaders, we don't acknowledge ourselves enough. We're so in it and we're so pushing forward. So this one, I'm already starting to plan it. So
brilliant.
Yeah, to be continued.
What month will it be?
November. November 20.
Brilliant. Super. And so 10 years in the game, 10 years in the sector. What led you to
nine at the moment. We're like 10 years coming.
Okay. What led you to hospitality? What was your kind of entry point in?
I've always I was in finance. I studied economics and business at Leeds Met. I was in finance for 4 or 5 years, working at different wealth management companies. And during that time, it was a very difficult time for the finance sector. There was the crash, and I was in an industry that definitely wasn't aligned with my sort of inner core, but I also was young and chasing money and doing what I thought was best. And consistently, food was a huge distraction and calling. I'd bring in leftover Iraqi dolma or loads of grub for the boys and the ladies to eat. And it was like those type of memories when I look back, and I remember them eating it and them all saying to me dude, you're in the wrong industry. You need to start a restaurant, or you need to do something. So, and I was always whatever. And then I did a few stages at different restaurants in London. I just feeding this little kind of distraction that I had. And got some work experience, and it was fuel to my fire, and I kept wanting more. And it was November 2019, November 2013, sorry, that I hosted my first pop-up, and that was the start of the JUMA journey.
Nice. And what did that act as? You dipping your toe in the water, or was that at the point you decided?
No. I hadn't told Baba or my mum, dad or mum, I'm leaving finance. I was still sort of in a corporate job. But at that time, it was definitely just, let me just see what this is about. Let me just do what I need to do. Because at the time, London was going through an explosion in street food and various different cuisines, cultures, and obviously London being London, it was being so accepting of all this amazing grub and vibe coming out of it. And I just always thought Iraqi food has its place, and the food I grew up eating, it was it's so good. and
Yeah.
it's ludicrous it doesn't have its place amongst all of this scene. And I never ever would have thought like my business and it would have happened and gone to what it has. But there was just like, that was again more seeds planted of like, well, someone needs to do something about this. And I was kind of looking around me and no one was. So I was like,
Yeah.
F it, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna rep. So yeah.
Yeah. And that you did. Or that you
Yeah.
do. Sorry. I don't know why I said past tense. What did your parents say when you told them you were leaving
Dad,
finance?
no, great one. Great question. Dad looked at me, remember it well, and he said, "So you're gonna leave a job, a well-paid job, to become a dishwasher?" And he just didn't want to. He didn't even want to look at me.
Oh,
So
bless you.
so yeah, that was a lovely one. Obviously, hang tight, Dad, for that.
Yeah.
And mum, bless her. I think parents. Mum was worried
Mm,
about me. Do you know what I mean? Mum was just
mm,
worried, like he's tried so many different jobs, they haven't really worked, and now at the age of 30, back then, I'm about to
mm,
go do a startup food business, and I don't even know what it's looking like. So
mm.
yeah, like parents are there to kind of worry and love us in their
Yeah,
own
they
way. And
mm,
but I did realize, and this is something, a relatively like serious point, that I knew I couldn't hang around with my mum and dad in these conversations. I had to find my own tribe, my own
yeah,
people to
wow.
empower me and to have like less worry and more like, right, solutions and
Yeah,
empowerment and all of
yeah,
that. And you know, that
yeah,
kind of that as parents, probably they're not up for the risky kind of like moves that
absolutely
their
not.
their son and daughters are making. So I soon realized that, right, I need to get the good energy and the right energy around me if I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah. Okay, super. And tell me, when you actually joined the industry, what were you most surprised about? Because I think a lot of people have a perception or idea of what hospitality is from the outside looking in. But when you actually arrived in the sector, were there, or what were those surprises, if any?
There were massive surprises.
Mm.
Just the way people are treated in kitchens back then.
Yeah, yeah,
I've never seen or witnessed anything like it. It was a huge baptism of fire of like, wow,
mm,
like people are angry, people are stressed, people are like, I've seen physical abuse in kitchens and I've seen verbal abuse. Like I've
yeah,
seen it all, and it's like that
yeah,
was a huge eye opener. Obviously, as well, inside of that, um, um, inside of that kind of like verbal abuse, I've seen racism, and that was
mm,
just like, wow, like it's accepted and this is the norm. Like this is like that. This is
mm,
it. Like no one's saying anything. No one. This is just how it is, and it was just. Yeah, like, and obviously that style of head chefing and leading a brigade and
yeah,
leading a team, it's still apparent in our industry, but
yeah,
it's
it is.
definitely not as, I don't feel it's as strong and as powerful as it was, which is a good
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And weirdly, I had empathy. I had empathy for those chefs because I felt like that's all they've known. So
yeah, sure.
that's the only move that they think they can take to
Yeah,
kind of lead a team. But
yeah, yeah.
like it's not. So but this conversation is huge because obviously the stresses
Mm,
that leaders have in hospitality are tough. Like they're so tough, and obviously with stress, people turn into different monsters and things. So it's a big melting pot of
mm,
basically the romance of hospitality soon left me. Like it wasn't
yeah,
as
yeah,
it wasn't as romantic as I thought of like
yeah,
owning a restaurant or being part of it.
yeah,
Like behind the scenes, it's like,
yeah,
yes, it can be calamitous. So
yeah,
that was a
yeah,
big eye opener.
yeah. What were some of the big eye openers for your own business? So, how long have you been at Borough Market in that
So
space now?
Borough November 2019.
Okay.
So we were 3 years, yeah, 3 years, like a few months ago. Biggest eye openers, I think.
Mm,
I think that the amount of work that goes into delivering forget delivering a plate of food. The amount of work that goes into even opening the shutters, opening the doors of an independent business before you've even stepped in.
Yeah.
Yet customers are coming with probably the most judgmental mindset, which arguably is okay, but like not from what I witnessed during pandemic times and through the last 3 years, where there's been no staff, no kind of like very limited help from the government, and just an all round like melting pot of like independent businesses are struggling, but the education gap between them and the consumer is so wide.
Absolutely.
It is so wide, and we're all foodies nowadays. We all think we know it all, but like no one knows unless and that I just can't. You can't put it into words unless you're in it and because you just it consumes your every fiber of your body, because we're not in this game out of money. We're in it because we love it. And yet we're just judged 24/7, and we're vulnerable 24/7. And it's like I was sharing to like a friend the other day. It's like I wake up now and I dread looking at my phone for all the WhatsApps in the morning of like already what's happened before I've started my day. Sickies, deliveries not showing up. A fridge, a fryer not working. You know,
there's just so much, isn't there? There's just so much that goes into, as you say, opening those doors, and all moving parts, and then you layer on top of that people.
Managing people it's the hardest. It's the hardest thing.
Super.
So I think just to maybe on top of that, I think more people should do like work experience at their local restaurants. More people should do stages. I think that is a huge, gap that could allow for a little bit more empathy and forgiveness and understanding.
You
know, even like I'll share, like even I hear how my dad speaks to front of house. I want to like flip the table. I'm like, do you have any idea like how, and it's just this like level of righteousness and level of like, this is how it is. It's like, it's not, they're actual people. And they're working their ass off.
Absolutely. Sorry. And I just often, I think about, comparing hospitality in this country to obviously Europe, Italy, France, and how especially operational sort of front of house teams are viewed versus the UK. And I think there's a huge amount of education required broadly within the UK about hospitality and the sector itself, and the fact that hospitality is also outside of the physical operation. But I think the one thing that I just think about, because it's really personal to me. So past 20 years worked in procurement and supply chain, hospitality leader, and a week wouldn't pass where I'd have conversations with people about what I do, and they never knew procurement existed. And then on an exec leadership team, having conversations with MDs about the importance of the supply chain, it never landed as it's necessary that we invest in our infrastructure and supply chain. Now, as a result of the pandemic and as consumers, us understanding the implications of, the UK importing 50% of its food from everywhere else in the world, and us personally being affected by that. Now there's this aha moment, and a lot of business owners, people in businesses have the same understanding to a degree as consumers. And I've long said that there's like a PR exercise to be done. So that there's a real lack of understanding, lack of empathy, and a really great expectation, really, which is unfair.
100%. And the other day, I had a conversation with someone who posted about Noma closing, the restaurant, due to just the whole system not being sustainable. And obviously Noma's like maybe a different kettle of fish to an independent business, but this influencer / PR person, he's a friend of mine. And I was like, look, like what are you going to do? I was like, what are you going to do about this? Like, you guys are the PR, the influencers, they're at the forefront, right? And sometimes all it is like more openings, more, try this place, try that place. No one's stopping to educate. No one's stopping to really have people know, okay, why are businesses closing? What, why are, these honest, independently run, kind of often family run businesses, why are they going under? Like, it's not about like, okay, what's the next PR package that we need to promote? Oh, it's Valentine's Day. Let's, no.
Yeah.
Like they as well as every one of us, but they probably especially with their big followings, they've got to step up and they've got to start talking about these issues. I just find that they've got the power, because obviously PR people come to them to promote a place.
Yeah,
but
sure.
If it's just openings and no one's talking about the closures, then like, well, what are we doing here?
Yeah, so true, so true. I can't remember what the latest stats like. Something I used to track actually, and I was tracking from the pandemic onwards, because whilst there were huge amounts of closures, there were a very similar number of openings at the same time, which I was just like,
it was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
During that time, I remember witnessing so many places open, and I was like, how? Like, but obviously, when you've got when you got that extra cushion of just money and maybe influence behind you, it's just a lot more easier.
That's so true. That's so true. I've got another question. I want to go back to a point that you made earlier about Iraqi cuisine, the gap. I just really want to understand your thoughts on kind of sharing culture through food, and just your feelings really on where Iraqi cuisine currently sits within the kind of food hospitality landscape and where you'd like to see it go. That's a few questions in.
So like the start of the journey, I remember a few people kind of sitting me down and be like, listen, don't say Iraqi cuisine, do like JUMA Kitchen, Middle Eastern food. And I was like, all right, cool. Then I was like, all right, tell me more. And they were just like, just like the name and like what the stigma attached to it, etc. And I was like, I kind of pondered on it for a little bit, but then I was like, sorry if I'm going to swear, I was just like, F that. Like, I'm going with Iraqi cuisine as the strapline, and it kind of like set the tone of like, so like there was two sort of layers to that. Obviously, London was very welcoming in relation to like new cultures, new cuisines, and when I say Londoners, I mean non-Iraqis, non-Arab. Like I'm talking about a whole new demographic that hasn't heard of this type of food. So there was an education there, and then there was reinventing a stereotype and reinventing a listening of a culture and a country through food. And that was super powerful from the get-go. That was like really powerful. And then there was like the Iraqis themselves. And I don't know, like, if you can relate to this, your own people can be your enemies as well, right? Like, as much as they champion you, there's a whole huge percentage that want to see you down as well. And I guess that isn't just culture, that's just human nature, unfortunately. And so I was kind of dealing with that and bearing in mind, like, here's a guy with white privilege, like Western white Irish mom and like obviously Iraqi dad. So I'm kind of toying with my own identity at the same time. I'm discovering my Iraqi-ness through taking on this thing of championing Iraqi cuisine. And no one, the trouble and the biggest hurdle I found, no one was doing it. So it was like I was on my own, but the weight on my shoulders, almost championing a country single-handedly, was actually way too big for me. I like there was times where I actually couldn't handle it, and because here's a guy who doesn't speak Arabic. I remember like many memories of doing pop-ups and like some Iraqi family, can I speak to the chef? And I'd joke and be like, okay, let me go get him. And then I'd come back and be like, hey, it's me. And they'd just be like, what? Like, they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So there was so many layers to it. And then the positive stuff was, I remember one pop-up, I had an Iraqi Christian family, an Iraqi Jewish family, and an Iraqi Muslim family all round the table talking about their memories of Iraq.
Okay.
And that was just like, that was beyond powerful. I remember I had one woman at a dinner party that I cooked for. She came up to me and said, like, I don't tell anyone I'm Iraqi. and like here you are unapologetically repping
Mm.
Iraqi food and culture, and like there's tears welling up in her eye. And again, I was just like, holy shit, like this is bigger than food, like this is super
Yeah.
powerful. So, and that was just there with that was like the catalyst and the impetus for me to right, I need to keep going with this. And then before I know it, like the Iraqi kind of community got wind, and listen, they are like the most proudest bunch, and they're just like, jokes aside, the love I get is like insane, like especially after like the accolades of the TV stuff last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
My goodness, they were like beyond proud, and it was just like representation for them.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I'm the luckiest person alive to be facilitating that and pushing that vehicle for everyone. And I feel so grateful all the time to be doing that. So in answer to your question, at the beginning it was tough, but now it's like, as I've grown and developed in my own Iraqi-ness and identity, I'm so much more comfortable now in my own skin. And those who like it, and those who don't, it's all good. Like, it's all good as well. So yeah, I'm feeling very, very comfortable and empowered right now.
Nice. Super duper. And so just in terms of like summarizing your hospitality journey today, if you could pick a singular word to sum it up, what would that be, if there's a single word?
Integrity.
Nice. Okay.
And generosity, like love and generosity. I think something I always tell the guys at Borough is like, it's like they're coming to our home, and that like Iraqi hospitality of when you do enter anyone's home, it's just so much love and warmth, and like they will literally give you their everything in their fridge, just it's just like, it's so pure. And we really want to try and deliver that as an experience more than just a grab and go kind of takeaway. Like, no, like we love and we talk, and we want to get to know all of our customers and really discover. And that's something that's like super important for me. And just integrity. I've always wanted to have integrity of the food, of the food, and obviously as a person. And that's sort of two big pillars that I've kind of had throughout this whole journey, and hopefully kept to.
Brilliant, super duper. And also kind of looking forward now then, so just about hospitality broadly, what is it that you think that needs to change or evolve about the sector to future-proof the industry?
Well, speaking for myself, I'm looking at sort of business models and plans that involve less reliance on people, and that's super sad when you actually present to that. But building a business plan and model where you're so kind of reliant on let's say people, and executing a menu that needs specific and talented head chefs and expertise. I just think the last 3 years I've experienced, I'm just so put off by that now.
Really?
And yeah. Like just this, and like, again, no one knows the sort of mental breakdowns that happened for individuals over the last 2-3 years, and the way in which it impacted like business owners on a level where it made them like unwell, like really unwell. Is it worth it? Like, is it actually worth it? It is only food, as the saying goes, right? So I'm trying to like create kind of business plans, models where it's still incredible food and it's incredible product, but let's say the execution is kind of idiot proof, and it's like building something where hopefully like the systems and controls that are in place will allow for like it to be opened 3 or 4 branches, or even hopefully like across the Middle East, and it still can be executed. Arguably, is that like less exciting? It is probably less exciting. Do people want to see Do people want to see more of me at Borough Market and doing more stuff? They do, but is that sustainable for me? No,
Yeah,
it's
for
not.
sure.
Right.
And
So
yeah,
that's where I look at things now. Taking care of me, not doing
yeah,
things for the sake of doing it. Like really focus on like what is that? What is going to be
yeah,
the cost here for me? And I don't mean monetary. I mean mental and well-being.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you, and I have personally also worked for like a number of QSR brands, and whilst the quality would be very different, and obviously the end product is very different, what they have done very well is, created standard operation procedures where products can be and offering can be replicated globally, right? And I always use the example of McDonald's. Anywhere in the world you go to McDonald's, whilst there are kind of cultural tweaks and variations, you know what you're getting in terms of the fries, you know what you're getting in terms of the burgers generally. And that is all due to the way that they build their business models in terms of execution and consistency.
Yeah.
And so there's absolutely something to be said that there, especially if you want to scale. So no, I completely understand and hear you on that, because there's only one you at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, and again, the romance of an independently run business,
Yeah.
and like we see and feel when we're in Italy and when we're in, recently come back from Lisbon, and you could just feel like independently run, family owned. But
Yeah.
I'm not the same person as I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
going into this game. I really am not. So, and I've got to
Mm,
listen to that, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm definitely not here saying I want to turn JUMA into a McDonald's or a Wagamama, but I'm just very conscious of like,
mm,
just the level of input that it might need from me
mm,
when I
yeah,
really do want to build a brand. I want to build a
mm,
global brand, and
yeah,
that as well ties into a question of plans for the future. Like I want to build something, and that might not be an actual bricks and mortar. Maybe it's a brand
yeah,
uncovering Iraqi culture and food from a social media perspective. But
yeah.
I want to build a brand this year and make a lot of noise. So watch this
Super.
space.
Brilliant. That sounds exciting. It really does. And pardon?
It will be. Yeah, we've got some
Oh,
good plans. We've got some
yeah,
nice,
good, good.
exciting plans.
Good, good, good. And I'm going to definitely come down and see you soon, actually, with the team.
Anytime,
With
lunch is on me. Trust me, it'll be a pleasure to cook for you
oh,
all. And yeah.
thank you. Super, Philip. So we've got a couple more questions just so we can get to know you a bit more personally, and then we are good to
Go
go.
on.
So it's a quick
Good.
fire round. What's your favorite smell?
Smell. Oh, whoa. I like the smell of honey, actually. I love the smell of honey.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
And cardamom.
Why?
Cardamom and
Okay.
honey. Honey, I don't know. There's something like when I smell it, I'm like, this is good for us. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, I know what
something
you mean.
like soothing and healing about the smell
Yeah,
of honey.
yeah, definitely. I'd say warm even as well. Yeah, no, I hear that.
Yeah.
Favorite season?
I love winter. I like cold. I like the cold. Like I like
Yeah.
everyone wrapped up. I like cozy vibes. But summer, I don't think there's a better place in London, in the
Yeah,
world, than London in the summer. So I've
I
probably got to
agree.
say summer. Get
Yeah.
the chicken legs out as well.
What's your favorite word?
Word. Word.
Oh, it's really random, but
No, I like
is there a
it.
word you use?
Favorite word. Gratitude. That's a beautiful and
Ah,
powerful word.
yes,
Gratitude.
agree. Favorite ingredient?
Garlic. Love garlic.
Nice. Love garlic too, actually. Favorite color?
Blue.
And last but not least, favorite drink?
Cognac, brandy. It's my typical.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love cognac. What type of cognac are you drinking?
It was my birthday. It was my birthday on Sunday, and someone got me quite quite a lovely bottle of Cavassier, but it was like the older barrel. But the
Okay.
Remy Martin champagne cask. Oh,
Yes.
that's what I love.
Okay. I actually, at the end of last year, I went to a tasting, a brandy tasting, and they had some amazing cognacs. And
Can you invite me next time, please?
Yeah, we will do. We'll extend the invite.
Please.
It was a Be Inclusive thing by WSET, which is around the corner.
Oh, wow.
So I could do.
Amazing.
Anyway,
Amazing.
next time. So, super duper, Philip. It's been a pleasure catching up with
bless you.
Loved hearing your journey. Let's stay in touch and excited for the year ahead. Sounds like you've got some exciting plans.
Thanks so much for having. Thank you so much for having me, and just like big fan of everything you're doing. Keep going, and it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. Thank you. Thanks, Lorraine.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining us for Thursday Night Takeaway. If you have any questions, comments, or thoughts, feel free to get in touch with us via our social channels, which you can see scrolling at the bottom. If you'd also like to be a guest on Thursday Night Takeaway, feel free to get in touch. And I will see you in a fortnight's time at 7 p.m. on a Thursday for the next Thursday Night Takeaway. And I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.